Publicly funded organisations are expected to be responsive, innovative, efficient and effective. Funding is scarce, so obviously it needs to flow to the work that will deliver the most value. But most of the budget is committed to business as usual, activities that might once have been new and promising, but now just are. Over time, they become part of the furniture and then part of the background until we take them entirely for granted. We invest an enormous amount of scrutiny in justifying any new proposals, while the bulk of our spending quietly accrues in layers of business as usual that are rarely challenged or tested. Legacy programs are like sediment. Each budget cycle adds a new layer of activity on top, while the older layers gradually harden and calcify. Ongoing operations are assumed to be safe, familiar, and justified. And they're also often politically difficult to challenge. As long as nothing goes wrong, horribly and publicly, there's no reason to question the status quo, so we don't. Over time, all that sediment builds up, clogging our capacity and limiting our ambition. We call this sedimentary budgeting. It's almost a defining feature of organisations that are functionally immortal. It's not inherently bad, but it can become a problem when deep layers are never revisited. When we keep funding ongoing effort without considering the alternatives once in a while, we can end up paying a huge premium in opportunity costs. It can be hard to notice or admit that the strongest argument supporting a lot of what we always do is simply that we've always done it. The original rationale is buried under years of sediment, so we don't even notice when outputs decline, relevance fades, or better alternatives become available. Business as usual persists because it's usual. It has its own momentum and vested interests, and challenging all that is usually a lot harder than letting it run. In an environment with very little discretionary funding and a lot of committed funding, this leads to a mismatch between the effort we invest in scrutinising our funding allocations and the potential rewards of making better choices. Intense competition for small slices of new money, but minimal contest over the vast majority of old money, leaves us working harder and harder to maximise the value of less and less. That mismatch contributes to mounting opportunity costs. Every time we nod through a legacy line item, regardless of whether it's the best use of those funds, we're saying no to something else, something that might be a better fit for our current needs and options. The longer that goes on, the harder it becomes to question existing spending. Legacy allocations and the constituencies that form around them become ever more entrenched. Even cows gradually become sacred, and the effort required to overcome assumptions and inertia grows ever larger. If a significant disinvestment in business as usual does somehow happen, it's usually traumatic. It's often driven by a crisis, forced from outside and highly disruptive. Rather than interrogating our own assumptions and appropriations, we wait until something forces the issue. That's not just inefficient, it's painful. Instead of putting all our eggs into the zero-sum game of competing for new money, seeking to maximize the total number of dollars we control, what if we prioritized our effort based on maximizing the total value we create per dollar invested? That suggests a shift in focus towards assessing the relative merits of large ongoing investments that might not be pulling their weight. It's obviously not efficient to interrogate the optimal allocation of every dollar we spend every time we spend it, but it's also inefficient to lock in allocations, never to be challenged again. A rolling program of rigorously reviewing current expenditure can chip away at sedimentary layers, strengthening our foundations and minimizing the risk of catastrophic earthquakes. It can also make some space for new and better ideas without having to go 12 rounds with every other worthy proposal on the table. Recurrent funding is a vast and valuable resource, and proactively mining it for new and better opportunities shouldn't be seen as a punishment. It's about making room for more ambition. This doesn't just mean evaluating each program in turn. An evaluation can usually tell you if a program is doing some good somewhere. But an evaluation typically won't tell you if a program is the best use of your resources compared with all other potential opportunities. When we approach old money with the same sense of curiosity and opportunity that we do new money, we don't just unlock resources, we unlock better and new possibilities. Holding existing spending to the same high standards as new proposals helps to direct resources to the highest value opportunities and to invest in emerging priorities and needs. Publicly funded organizations operate in a world of finite resources and infinite need. We owe it to ourselves and the communities we serve to make sure every dollar is working smart as well as hard. That means asking smarter questions about what we keep doing, what we stop doing, what we start doing, and why we're really here. Thank you for watching.